Welcome to Chapter 3, where we dissect how your brain gets hacked without your permission, or with it, depending on how much coffee you've had. Understanding disinformation tactics isn't just academic, it's operational intelligence you need in the field. Think of this as your threat briefing on the weapons being used against your cognitive infrastructure. Today's adversaries, both foreign and domestic, aren't using just one approach. They're deploying an integrated arsenal of manipulation techniques. Some are as old as espionage itself, while others are so cutting-edge they make your agency's latest innovative initiative look like it was designed on Windows 95. Pay attention, because this isn't just about spotting fake news. These are the same techniques potentially being used to compromise your assets, manipulate your analysis, and yes, even influence budget allocations within your own agencies. The playbook we're about to cover might look familiar, and if it doesn't, you might want to wonder why your own training programs haven't covered it. Let's dive in before someone decides this information is too sensitive for your clearance level. Let's clarify terms, because unlike your agency's policy manual, we actually want you to understand this. Misinformation is when your well-meaning colleague forwards that email about the cafeteria serving mystery meat tomorrow. It's false. But they weren't trying to cause panic. Disinformation is when someone deliberately crafts that message to ensure nobody shows up for the budget meeting. But wait, there's more. There's also malinformation, genuine information deliberately shared to cause harm. Think of those leaked emails that were real, but released specifically to damage someone's reputation. It's like when internal affairs releases just enough of your service record to make you look bad while conveniently omitting the commendations. All three are dangerous, but disinformation has a special place in hell and in certain operational playbooks that officially don't exist. During the Brexit referendum, disinformation campaigns used fabricated statistics to influence voters. Sound familiar? It should, because it's straight out of the Influence Operations section of manuals that redact themselves if read aloud. Let's talk tactics. And yes, these will sound familiar to anyone who's ever written a strategic communications plan or had to explain away a budget overrun. Fabrication is creating completely false content, like that 2017 story about a U.S. senator caught in a scandal that never happened. It's the information equivalent of that credible human source, who later turned out to be your asset's fictional cousin, invented to justify more operational funds. Imposter content involves creating fake websites or accounts that look legitimate, like those fake news sites during the 2020 election. It's essentially digital stolen valor, and it works because we're all too busy to check credentials. How many of you actually checked my old podcasts before these episodes started? Exactly. Then there's doctored media, manipulated photos and videos that show events that never occurred. And I'm not just talking about those enhanced surveillance photos your tech team produces to make unidentifiable subjects miraculously clear enough for court. These are sophisticated fakes designed to create false realities, like that deepfake of a politician that circulated in 2022. The scary part, even your forensic teams would need specialized tools to spot the good ones. Now for the advanced playbook, techniques that would make your agency's PSYOPs division either very proud or very nervous that civilians know about them. Narrative laundering is the process of washing dirty information through increasingly credible sources until it appears legitimate. It starts as a post on some obscure forum, gets picked up by fringe media, then mainstream adjacent outlets, and eventually makes its way into respected publications, all without additional verification. It's like how that reliable intelligence, your informant provided, magically transforms from unverified claim to confirmed fact as it moves up your chain of command. Strategic amplification involves coordinated action across platforms to artificially boost visibility. Remember those seemingly spontaneous hashtag campaigns that suddenly dominated social media? Yeah, about as spontaneous as your surprise mandatory training sessions. Research shows that as few as 500 coordinated accounts can create the impression of a major public movement. Sort of like how 5 angry emails to the director somehow become widespread internal dissatisfaction with your unit's performance. Pre-bunking is particularly devious, spreading falsehoods that anticipate the truth. When accurate information eventually emerges, it seems like just another competing claim rather than a correction. It's like when your supervisor accuses you of political bias in your analysis before you've even completed it, making your factual findings look defensive rather than objective. Also ethically reprehensible, but we're just describing techniques here, not endorsing them. Officially. Finally, let's talk about why catching these operations is harder than explaining budget overruns to Congress. Plausible deniability is built into modern disinformation. Operations are designed specifically to obscure their origins. Much like those off books, operations your agencies definitely don't run. When Russia denied involvement in 2016, election interference despite mountains of evidence, they were leveraging attribution challenges intentionally woven into their operational design. You almost have to admire the craftsmanship until you remember you're the target. Multi-platform coordination means these campaigns operate across jurisdictional boundaries, both digital and geographic. An operation might originate on Telegram, spread to Twitter, migrate to Facebook, jump to mainstream media, all while being managed from servers in 5 different countries. It's like trying to investigate a crime that crosses 16 different agencies' turfs without a joint task force. Except nobody wants to share intel, and half the agencies deny the crime even happened. And the most devious technique, blending fact with fiction. By incorporating 60-70% verifiable truth with 30-40% fabrication, disinformation becomes resistant to debunking. Fact checkers can verify most of the content, making the falsehoods harder to isolate. It's like those assets who feed you just enough actionable intelligence to keep you coming back, while slipping in disinformation you end up including in your reports. Not that any of you would fall for that, right? First, intentionality is your analytical North Star. Mis, dis, and malinformation require fundamentally different countermeasures. Treating all false information the same is like using the same approach for organized crime, terrorism, and that colleague who keeps stealing lunches from the break room fridge. The intent behind the deception determines your response strategy. Second, tactical diversity means you're never dealing with just one technique. Modern influence operations layer multiple approaches simultaneously, fabricating content, amplifying it through coordinated networks, laundering it through progressively more credible channels, all while maintaining plausible deniability. It's like trying to investigate a criminal enterprise that's simultaneously running fraud, money laundering, extortion, and cybercrime. Except the perpetrators might include nation-states with resources that make your annual budget look like lunch money. Third, the asymmetric advantage is real and growing. Creating and spreading disinformation is exponentially easier than detecting and debunking it. One analyst with a laptop can generate more false content in an hour than your entire agency can verify in a week. This isn't just operational reality, it's mathematical certainty. The resource imbalance should terrify you, but instead, most agencies respond by creating more paperwork requirements. Shocking, I know. Finally, our own institutional vulnerabilities often amplify the problem. When agencies prioritize speed over accuracy, narrative consistency over factual integrity, or political palatability over uncomfortable truths, we become unwitting amplifiers in the disinformation ecosystem. The call is coming from inside the house, folks. That requisition form for better analytical tools that keeps getting denied. That's not just bureaucratic inertia. It's a systemic vulnerability being exploited by our adversaries. Remember, recognizing these tactics isn't just about spotting them in foreign influence operations. It's about identifying when they're being used against you, by you, or within your own organizations. The most dangerous disinformation isn't the kind you're being paid to find. It's the kind you're being paid not to notice. For those of you who actually want to verify what I'm saying, a commendable if lonely pursuit in our line of work, here are the research foundations for this chapter. Wardle and Deraction's 2017 framework published by the Council of Europe provides the definitive typology of information disorder, breaking down the crucial distinctions between mis, dis, and malinformation. It's required reading for anyone who wants to understand why intention matters in information operations. Goldstein and Findley's 2021 study in the Journal of Cybersecurity documents the tactical evolution of disinformation campaigns from 2014 to 2020, showing how techniques have adapted to countermeasures. Their longitudinal analysis explains why yesterday's detection methods fail against today's operations. NATO's Strategic Communications Center of Excellence published comprehensive attribution methodologies in 2020 that detail the technical and analytical challenges in identifying disinformation sources. Their framework has become the gold standard for attribution in democratic contexts, though I'm told certain agencies have their own enhanced versions. Bradshaw and Howard's 2019 Oxford Internet Institute report maps the organizational structures behind influence operations, revealing how these operations mirror legitimate intelligence activities in their complexity and compartmentalization. The parallels to your own agency structures are uncomfortable. The EU Disinfo Lab's 2023 compilation of case studies provides the most current documentation of cross-platform coordination techniques, demonstrating how influence operations transcend digital boundaries. Their technical appendices include detection methodologies that might actually work if your IT department would let you install the necessary software. Study these sources because what you don't know about disinformation tactics isn't just a knowledge gap. It's a vulnerability your adversaries are actively exploiting. And unlike those mandatory cybersecurity training modules you click through while checking your phone, this education might actually keep your operations secure. Next episode will be focused on impact and societal effects. Until next time, keep learning and stay engaged. This is Kaede, out.